Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my September reading wrap up, better late than never. I read 5 books in September, which is pretty good for me, pretty like on par for what I normally read, except if you saw my 24-hour readathon, 4 out of these 5 books I read in the 24-hour readathon. So as you can tell, that definitely put me in a reading slump because I filmed that at the beginning of the month and then I only read 1 other book. So if you're thinking about doing a 24-hour readathon, it was a lot of fun, but it definitely put me in a slump. And out of those books, 3 were romances and 2 were mystery thrillers. The first book I read was Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the sequel to Wild Love, which is part of Elsie Silver's new series, Rose Hill, I believe it's called. And in the first book, the male main character is building a recording studio and the love interest is working for him, and they are like brother's best friend and they have this long history, but they're working together, etc, etc. So in this one, the main character, I think her name is Skylar. Of course, like their names aren't in the synopsis. Okay, I think her name is Skylar. I don't see it anywhere. If it's not Skylar, I'm so sorry. But Skylar is a famous pop star and she comes to record at the recording studio, but she gets there early and so it's not really ready yet. The guest cabins aren't done, so she ends up staying with the love interest from the first book's brother, who lives right next door, West, and the romance is between them. And West is a single dad, and if you've seen literally probably any of my videos, you will know that I love the single parent trope. It's my favorite. And overall, I thought this was really cute. I admittedly wasn't obsessed with the first one. I just thought it was okay, and this one I definitely liked more. I wasn't obsessed with the main character at first because she has that classic rich, born famous child star type energy where she just does not know how the world works, which I simply cannot relate to at all. So I did find her slightly annoying at first, but as the book goes on and she sort of matures and gets out of that bubble, I liked her a lot more. I also really liked her dynamic with his kids. I thought it was really sweet and really well done, and I just enjoyed the kids as characters too separately. And I also really liked the setting for these books. Elsie Silver is famous for cowboy romances. She wrote the Chestnut Spring series, which I love, but this one is more mountainy. I guess he still is technically a cowboy because he like trains horses, but it just has a different vibe. It's like in the mountains, they're on a lake, has more of like a camping sort of feel than like a ranch cowboy farm vibe, you know what I mean? And I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was perfect for like end of summer. I'm also really excited for the next book in this series. I think it's gonna turn out to be my favorite. Just the way that they were hinting at it in this one and the synopsis and everything, I think it sounds really good, so I'm really excited for that to come out. Then I read The Thursday Murder Club, which was not for me. This follows a group of senior citizens at a retirement village, and every Thursday they get together and try and solve cold cases until one day someone that's involved in the retirement community gets murdered, and so now they are switching focus and trying to solve that murder instead. I thought that sounded like such a cute synopsis. I wanted to see like the older people get together like every Thursday and have their little club. I think in my mind I just thought this book was gonna have a very different vibe than it ended up having. I kind of was expecting like wholesome, cute, like little old people in sweaters, and it just like really didn't have that vibe. So that's like definitely on me. I just had different expectations going into it, but I ended up really not liking this. I didn't like literally any of the characters. There was one character I did like in the beginning, and then as the book went on, I just disliked her more and more, and she was literally the only one that I enjoyed. I just found them all kind of unlikable, and I didn't really connect with any of them. As for the mystery itself, I did think it was interesting in the beginning, but again, just as it went on, it just lost the plot for me personally. There were just so many characters they kept introducing and side plots and just things that you think are gonna matter and then end up not mattering, and there was just a lot going on, and because of that I found myself just very confused. Honestly, for the last like 30% of this book I was like, what is going on? Again, like probably a me problem, I don't know, but I just like could not keep track of everyone and everything that was going on, and because of that I just didn't think the end was satisfying because I didn't care about anyone and I had no idea what was going on anyway. There was also one theory I had, and I really thought I was right, which never happens to be honest. I never normally care to like guess when I'm reading a thriller, but I was like, oh, this has to be it. Like they're hinting at it so much. This has to be it. And then it wasn't, but it also wasn't explained. And I know this is part of a series, so maybe that's something that they'll get into farther down the line. I will not be reading those books, so I guess I won't find out. But that was frustrating to me because I thought they were gonna at least explain what was going on there, and they didn't, unless I just missed it. So unfortunately, that one was not for me. But I definitely think I'm in the minority because if you look at the Goodreads reviews for this, they are so positive, but I just personally was really not a fan. Then I read I'll Get Back to You. This is a sapphic holiday romance. It takes place over Thanksgiving weekend. The main character in this is the epitome of like girl who's feeling lost in her 20s. She goes to community college and her best friend left her to go to state school, and so she just like doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. She's struggling in school. She's failing a class and she wants to transfer to state school, but if she fails this class, she can't. So she's in a bit of a bind, and then she's out with her best friend on Thanksgiving Eve and runs into an old classmate, and it turns out her professor is her old classmate's mom. So they strike up a deal to fake date, and the main character is hoping to get on the professor's good side and get an A, and the other love interest recently went through a breakup, but she doesn't want to have to explain that to her parents, so she wants someone that she can bring home for Thanksgiving, and that's how they strike up this deal. I really liked this. I think it's because I am literally the main character. Like the point in the main character's life where she's at was literally me at her age. Like she's literally me, and honestly like still even now, like I saw a lot of myself in her. It was actually kind of crazy. Community college, me failing math at community college and having to retake it, something I did. Working as a barista, something I did. She wants to go into marketing, literally what my college major is at this moment. Feeling left behind because she stayed back and is going to community college, and her best friend went to state school. Me. So I just saw like so much of myself in her. It was like honestly weird. There are a lot of characters I relate to, like maybe personality wise, the way they think about things, the things they're interested in, but in terms of like reading a character that is so similar to like my life, I don't think it's ever happened before. It was just weird, but I loved it. This was also just the coziest vibes. It gave me the same vibes as watching a Christmas movie. Like I know it's not a Christmas book, but just that coziness of like a good holiday movie. That's how this book made me feel, like a 2000s Christmas movie. That feeling is what this book had. Perfect book to just like curl up in bed, put an ambiance video on, drink a hot chocolate, and just like be cozy, which is my favorite feeling in the world. So I loved that. One thing I didn't love about this though is I did feel like the romance was definitely more of a side plot, and I didn't really mind that much because I did love the main character so much, but I did just feel like there could have been more romance. It does only take place over like a long holiday weekend, so I guess you can't get into it that much, but I just wish that there had been a little bit more romance. It felt a little bit like a side plot, but other than that, I really liked this. Then I read The Last Word. This is a thriller, and this book is crazy. Like this book is batshit crazy, but I had so much fun with it. The main character is house sitting in this really remote island in Washington state, and she reads this ebook and it's really bad, and so she leaves a 1-star review, and the author ends up writing her back, and then after she leaves this 1-star review, really weird creepy things start happening to her in the house. And that's all I'm gonna say, because if I say any more I feel like it'll just spoil it. But this book was a wild ride. I feel like this is gonna be one of those books where you either like it or you hate it. Like I could totally understand reading this and being like, what did I just read? That was so weird. I hate it, but I liked it. I don't know, it gave me what I wanted it to give me. I was scared. I literally was reading this at night and had to stop and wait until the next morning because I was getting freaked out. It was so entertaining. Like I don't know, you have to just like take it for what it is. It's camp, okay? It's camp. Another one where I was like, is this play better? Because I lived in Washington and I house sit a lot. I was like, okay, why do I feel like I'm gonna end up in this situation? Like this could be me. It was just really entertaining and I had fun reading it, so I gave it 4 stars. The only thing I didn't like about this is that it's written by a man. But like actually, like I'm joking but I'm not. I'm trying, like I don't want to spoil it, but like there's talk of like an incel-esque character, and just the way it was written, I was like, but you're a man. Like the calls coming from inside the house. Like, I don't know, something about a man writing a character like that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not insinuating anything, like I'm sure the author is a wonderful person, but it was a little bit weird to me. It kind of gave me the ick. But if you can get past that, it was a good time. Okay, the last book I read is my newest obsession. I literally loved this book so much. It's called Sunshine. I keep saying this about every book, but I can't tell you that much about it because it'll ruin it. Like, you just have to go in blind. It's a romance. It's a cowboy romance. Small town. It's like cowboy romance, Friday Night Lights, small town, past and present timeline, and that's all I can say. If you like those vibes, just go read it. Go in blind. The synopsis doesn't really tell you anything either, which is definitely on purpose. Like, you just have to go and experience it. But when I tell you, I was obsessed with this book. I know normally when people say they were giggling, blushing, kicking their feet, squealing, they're joking. I'm being so serious. Something about this book possessed me. I was literally blushing, kicking my feet, giggling, squealing. Like, I had a full body reaction to this book. It was so good. It's also very sad. There's a very sad major plot going on, which I love in a romance. I love when romances have like a more serious topic going on, but in terms of the romance, like, I was not okay. I'm obsessed. I wish I could give spoiler thoughts because I have so many of them, but it would literally ruin the entire book. Like, I can't say anything more, but I was obsessed and I need everyone to go read it. It was also one of those books that I just literally could not stop thinking about. I actually started rereading it like right after I finished it, and I've been like rereading it in little batches because I just couldn't stop thinking about it and I wanted to experience it again. Like, it was just so good. Please go read it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like this was a little bit of a short one, but honestly at this point I read these books like 2 months ago, so my memory is just not there. I'm so sorry. But if you made it all the way through, thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me anywhere else, I'll have all my other socials linked down below, and I'll see you next time.